Hi everyone, I hope you're all safe and happy. We're just going to move on to our next subject now, which is corporate law, and I want to explain that to you, okay? So, corporate law. I'm just waiting for the next slide to change, and it's not changing. There you go. So, what is a corporate department? Well, if somebody wanted to set up their own business, okay, and they wanted a limited company, they might go to their solicitor and say, can you set me up a limited company? And it's a solicitor's job to do that, but actually it's going to be your job. So you'll be one setting up the limited company, okay? It's not hard to do. It costs about £65 to set up your own limited company, okay? Now most solicitors will deal with this. However, people could also go to their accountants and get it done, and accountants are probably the better bet. So that's a small fry, that's a small part of corporate department. A lot of what you're going to be doing in here is about registering a limited company, which is quite a complex thing to do. Okay, right, I'm going to move to the next slide. Now, corporate law, it's not really dealt with a huge deal by local solicitors. They might set up your limited company, but when the accounts need to be done, it's got to be done by the accountant. Okay, the big stuff, like the big juicy stuff, you know, companies arguing, corporate law, etc., that's the big law firms in London. So if you're interested in this, you really need to work in London, okay? Company secretary. You might have heard of this phrase. You might have even seen it advertised, and it might be 50,000 for a company secretary, and you think, yeah, I'll go for that. Don't do it, because it's not anything like you think, okay? I'm going to explain in a minute about limited companies, but a company secretary, it basically means a director that is responsible for putting the paperwork into company's house. If they don't do it at the right time and the information isn't correct, they will get a criminal offence against them. So you do not want to do that, okay? That last bullet point there, if they don't do it, or if the company's insolvent, then criminal proceedings will be started. So imagine you've got a company and the company is not making enough money, but it's having to pay out things like for rent and, I don't know, council tax, that kind of thing. But if they haven't got the income to cover it, that is actually a criminal offence. So that's a bit scary, isn't it? If the company doesn't make enough money, you're going to get a criminal record. That's not right. Okay, so you have to be really careful with limited companies, which I'm going to explain to you about now. So anyone can set up a limited company. You could, £65, as I said before. What is great about a limited company is liability is limited to £100. So say I start my own limited company, an earring shop, for example. If it all fails, crashes and burns, I don't make any money, the worst thing that can happen to me is I have to pay £100, okay? I won't lose my house and I won't lose my car. That's fine, because it's limited liability, okay? Now, anyone can be a managing director. You could too if you wanted to. The only thing is, this has to be registered with Companies House, okay, which is a government organisation, and anybody can see what's on Companies House. And on Companies House, it will have your name, normally your address, your date of birth, what other companies you're involved in, and your company, it would have to show the whole world their income, what they're spending money on, your signature. It's a lot, you know, it's a real breach of privacy. So if you're a really nosy person, looking at limited companies is actually quite interesting, because you can find things, which I'll show you in a little while. LLP. Now this is almost exactly the same as a limited company, except it's kind of a section really designed for accountants and solicitors. Because think about Ingram Lottie and Exton, right, we've got 4 partners, yeah? Is it 3? No, 3 partners, sorry. Just suppose Valerie decides she's going to retire and they need to bring in a new partner. If they had an LLP, then all they've got to do is just swap over, resign Valerie and get somebody else in, okay? It's easy for partners coming in and out, where normal limited companies, it's really difficult. So LLP is like a limited company, it is a limited company, but it's easier to change directors easily, okay? Again, same rules, all your income and expenditure has to be there for the world to see, okay? Now, sole trader. You probably know somebody that's a sole trader, and that is someone that's decided to set up the business, right? So say I've decided to set up an earring shop, yeah? It's set up by me, so I put all my money into it. I can employ people to work for me. I don't have to tell anybody how much money I'm making or how much I'm paying on all expenses or anything. The only people I have to tell is HMRC. However, the problem is, if it all fails and I'm going to have to pay the expenses, I could lose my house and I could lose my car, which obviously is not great, okay? Where I couldn't, if I had a limited company, all I'd lose is £100, okay? So sole trader is good, but you could lose everything. Now, partnership, just the same as a sole trader, okay? Except it's two people. So me and Joe could decide, right, we're going to quit college, have our own earring shop. That's great. We'd run the business together. We could employ people. We don't have to tell anybody what the earnings are or expenses are, anyone but HMRC, because obviously we've got to pay tax and stuff. Not limited in any way. However, we could lose our cars, our houses, we could become bankrupt if it all goes wrong, okay? So I want you to research some limited companies and I want to show you how to do it. Now, this is absolutely great for being nosy, isn't it? Okay. So I am just going to, oh, hold on, I meant to do that. Okay. These are limited companies that you can look at. I've just looked at, you see, every limited company is assigned a number, and these are some numbers here. If we were doing it in class, I would ask you to look at that number and then research these things. What I'm going to do is escape there, go to Google, because I love Google, new tab. I'm going to type in companies, house, oops, spell house right, web check. Okay. So we want information about something. So we're going to go get information on the company, gov.uk. Okay. Get information about a company, start now. Now I can put a company name in. Okay. I'm going to put Psycho Limited, and you can guess where this is going. Psycho Limited, search. Oh, look how many psychos there are. Okay. Psycho Limited. Shall we have a look at this one? Okay. I don't think it's who I thought it was. No, it's an unlicensed restaurant and cafe. Let's go back. I was looking for Simon Cowell's company, so I'm not quite sure of the spelling of it. So what I'm going to do is just put in Simon Cowell. Let's look up him. Search for him. There you go. Simon Cowell. Now you see all these people, he's going to obviously have a London address. Look, number of appointments, so that's the number of companies that he's a director to is 10. That's got to be Simon Cowell from Britain's Got Talent. Okay, so looks like these are all, look, he was called Psycho Holdings. Shall we look at Psycho Holdings? Okay, so it's a private limited company, nature of business, amusement and recreation facilities. His next accounts are due in September 2019. Okay, well, they were due, that's the end date, and they've got to be done by the 30th of June. Okay, now what I can do is look at the people involved. So if I click on people there, I can look at what he had. What, Simon Jenkins is an officer or a director. Abo Bodogo Nominees is a director. Simon Cowell is. Now, because Simon is famous, he doesn't necessarily have to have his home address in there, but most people would have their home address there. And Anthony Smith resigned, so he probably had a bit of an argument with Simon Cowell, probably. Now, if I look at filing history, that sounds boring, doesn't it? Okay. If I then go to accounts, look, full accounts, 22 pages. This is the annual report and accounts for Psycho Holdings, so Simon Cowell's company, probably to do with Britain's Got Talent and stuff like that. So it gives like lots of blurb about it. You can see that the accountants are PricewaterhouseCoopers, yeah. Directors, Simon Cowell and M. Smith, okay. They're going to talk about their risks, etc. Really, I want to get to the accounts bit. Okay, so I'm just scrolling down the PDF. Okay, I'm not going to do that bit. Let's look at this bit. Right, so investments, 86 million. Okay, this company owns assets of 86 million. Okay. Debtors is who owes the company 51 million. Cash at bank and in hand, how much physical cash is in the bank on that date? 67,000. Okay. Creditors is who they owe money to, 59 million. Okay. And what they're going to have to pay out after, when you take into account what people owe them, is 7.6 million. Okay. Total equity, so how much they've got, 79 million this year. And look, they've actually made a loss of 3.5 million this year. Okay. Made 3.2 million loss last year. And you might think, well, that doesn't sound quite right, does it? But remember, I showed you Simon Cowell, he's got 10 companies, so he splits it across different companies, so he doesn't have to pay too much corporation tax. He's not a stupid man. Okay, psycho. So, I used to actually be a director of one of my brother's companies. This is my good brother. Well, actually, my good brother and my bad brother. Let's see if I'm still on there. Hopefully, I've dropped off, but hopefully I have. Well, yeah, hopefully I have. Da-da-da. Oh, look, I might have dropped off. How wonderful. Yeah, I'm not there anymore. That's great. But look, just look at my surname, the amount there is there. Okay. Someone that's in the news at the moment, Victoria Beckham. God, she's getting on everybody's nerves, isn't she? Right. Victoria Beckham has never made a profit. You know, she's got this sort of fashion business, absolutely useless. Okay. Every day, every time she makes big loss. Makes about 6 million loss a year. So we can look up here. So we've got Victoria Beckham Limited. Let's look at the people involved. Abedodo nominees. Okay, they obviously work for the rich and famous people. Victoria Caroline Beckham. Did you know her second name was Beckham? Look, you can see her accountant's address. Okay, you can see that she was born in April 1974. We've got David Bellhausen. Simon Fuller, he's quite famous as well. He's a director. I don't know who Ethan Hayuo is, or Nicola Howson, or Alessandro Maggini. So there's a few on here. Okay. These people are, oh no, they resigned. They're partners in her business. Again, we can look at filing history. Go down to accounts. And we can just scroll down and we can see how much she's making or isn't making. Yeah, it takes a bit of scrolling, I'm afraid. Right, okay. Turnover. So her sales were 35 million. The cost of selling was 22 million. So the profit she made was 12 million, which is great. Distribution costs, i.e. lorries going backwards and forwards to the stores, 249,000. Administrative expenses, as in the cost of running the business, 24 million, which means she made a loss of 11 million pounds. And if you look at the next column, previous year she made 9 million pounds. She just gets worse and worse. So then as you come down, it says total comprehensive income for the year. You can see it's 12 million there, 10 million there. The fact that it's in brackets means it's a loss. Okay, so you can be quite nosy with people. What I would suggest you do is, if you know anybody that's got a limited company, just type their name in here, okay? Anybody's name. I'm just picking a name out the air. David Harrison. Don't know who he is. But look at all the David Harrisons. You might find out, if you type your name in, you might find somebody with your name, your mum or dad might have a limited company, your uncle might have. Just have a look. It's really quite interesting to have a look, okay? That's basically all I wanted to tell you. If I just go back to my PowerPoint, you could look up these people, and if I looked there, you could look at Jimmy Carr, for example. He's got a company called Nora. Why it's called Nora, I don't know. Psycho Simon Cowell. Google, have a look at that and see how much profit they made. That's amazing. And how much they paid in tax. That's quite interesting. Okay. So that's basic corporate law. It's not the most exciting. It's a little bit boring. But that's it. Okay, over and done with. Bye.